Before I deal with Animating Rebel's torturous video and the monumental pile of shit he wrote in response to me, I have a few channel-related things to address. First, as you may have noticed, my channel trailer was taken down. This is because it was flagged by a psychotic idealist who goes by the name Hero Bowers. This is funny because almost immediately after uploading the video, I said I was eventually going to delete it myself because it sucked. So nice job guys, you took down a 30-second montage of nonsense that I didn't even want on my channel. I also haven't been checking my YouTube inbox for a few months, but when I finally got around to it, I saw this. Idealists are trying to get you banned from YouTube. And here are some quotes. Justin Fowler. Ander just admitted he uses 30 sock puppets to thumb up his own videos on his main channel. Drew Bowers. YouTube should have banned Ander long ago as per their own rules and our reports, but since the heads of Google are committed atheists, I actually do kinda have my conspiracy theories. Look at these fucking clowns. It's amazing that this even needs to be said, but the Google executives don't give a damn about my channel and don't even know who I am. And for the record, I don't thumb up anything on this channel or Sufferthorn with my own accounts. I said I was doing that after Derezd accused me of it for no reason, which by the way is hilarious since he actually does thumb his own videos up. Anyway, these idiots don't understand sarcasm. So now that that's taken care of, I have two Facebook pages I want to announce. My channel's Facebook page and a Derezd83 parody page. You can find the links to both in the description. Now I'm going to devour Animating Rebel's video titled Free Will Does Not Reduce to Randomness or Regress. This video is a disaster from start to finish. His whole argument hinges on a distinction between randomness and free will, and he fails to make that distinction. He gives free will vague, irrelevant, and contradictory properties like intrinsic, ontologically irreducible, active, and controlled. You can tell he doesn't even understand what he's saying and doesn't care. The problem, of course, is that his active intrinsic non-causal control hasn't been shown to be any different from randomness. It seems I have just as much active intrinsic non-causal control over his actions as he does. Animating Rebel appeals to this nonsensical term to try to make a distinction between a free act and a random event, without explaining how it is inconsistent with a random event. For instance, he says that radioactive decay is random because it lacks control. Obviously it lacks what ordinary humans mean by control, but Animating Rebel gives no reason to think that it lacks his non-causal control. In fact, Animating Rebel has failed to even give a coherent definition of non-causal control. Control is by definition causal. What part of control is even preserved once you've removed causal from its definition? Animating Rebel is an obscurantist. He defends his position with vague statements, word salad, and redefined words. He talks about control as having to do with being in charge and having things up to you, but again, those phrases, as we know them, imply causality. So no attempt has been made to show how non-causal control is distinct from randomness, or in other words, how non-causal control isn't just the lack of control. Next, he tries to say that we do have reasons for our actions, namely our desires. So according to his reasoning, we're determined by our desires unless we have multiple equally strong desires. What happens then? Well, we choose to act on one for absolutely no reason. But it's not random. Why isn't it random? Animating Rebel tries to give two distinctions. He says it's not random since there is nothing coercing you, which is not a distinction at all since the same would be true if your choice was random. He also says that it's not random because we are not blind to the outcome. There are three reasons why this doesn't work. 1. It's irrelevant. The problem is that there is no reason why you do one thing rather than another. The fact that you feel like you're in control or aware doesn't matter at all. This is because your awareness and your control have no influence on the outcome. Knowing what's going on doesn't make you responsible for it. And on a side note, Derezd83, you're a fucking idiot for failing to realize this. This is why I made a parody page of you, Derezd. Because everything you do is a mistake. 2. He totally ignores the possibility that our choices don't feel random because they simply aren't. They happen for a reason. Seriously, he's so stupid he failed to consider the most obvious explanation and just assumed his position is true instead. 3. It's incoherent or not a real distinction. There is no way you could be aware of the outcome if it was about to happen for no reason. Animating Rebel seems to have caught this and says, I did not mean to suggest that a free agent knows what the outcome will be ahead of time when making a torn decision between two possible courses of action. What I meant is that the agent knows what he or she is doing as the agent is making the decision. So in other words, the agent is blind to the outcome, and his wording in the video is incorrect. Thanks for making me rewrite my script, you clueless fuck. And what the fuck are you talking about? What exactly would you know prior to the outcome that you wouldn't know if the outcome was random? All of your causally irrelevant mental deliberation prior to the outcome would still be there if it was random. The randomness in this case would just be at the very instant your decision goes from not being made to having been made. Lastly, even if you got to choose which desire to act on, there is still a huge problem. You don't get to choose your desires. This means that if my torn decision happens to be between homicide or rape, I have to commit one of those acts. I just get to pick which one. So this is a shit model of free will for moral accountability.